Welcome back, guys. In last week's episode, we painted all the walls in the trailer and we did all the metal fabrication on the aluminum trim panels. This week, we're going to finish up all the electrical. As I mentioned in that episode, guys, I am not a fan of Scotch locks, which is these. It's basically just a quick connector. In my experience, they fail, they corrode, they're just not built for this type of stuff. But a lot of trailer manufacturers use this because it's economical and it's fast. But we're going to redo it and we're going to put proper butt connectors on this. So the first thing I did was undo the Scotch lock, and now we're going to just strip out all the ends. Now I'm putting on a connector that actually has shrink tubing already installed on it. There, now using a heat gun, we'll heat up that heat shrink. There, now that's a nice secure connection. I wish they would just do these this way right from the factory. If any of you guys have ever used these, you know what I'm talking about. And you can see this is how it works. It just stabs into the wire and it just makes a connection when you squeeze it. And some folks may argue that they've never had any problems and that these work great. And if these work great for you, don't let me discourage you. I've just never had good luck with them. Anytime I've ever tried to use them, they've always somehow managed to fail on me and cause a problem. And this is what I'm using for a kit, guys. I just picked this up on Amazon. It comes with like 200 different connectors. So you just pick the size that you need. These ones say they're for 22 gauge to 16 gauge. We give the wire a little bit of a spin and then just slide the connector in. Sometimes if you go too tight crimping these, it'll actually cut the wire. So you gotta go, tight enough to hold the wire in there, but not so tight that you damage the wire. And we'll do the same thing again. We'll heat it up and shrink that heat shrink. A lot of people don't know this, but before I got into construction, right fresh out of high school, I thought I wanted to be an electrician. And that's what I went to school for, right fresh out of high school, to be an electrician. I did it for a couple years and decided I really didn't care much for it, and into construction I went. I strip it out just a little bit extra. That way I can twist the wires together and then cut them flush on the ends. Another thing you could do, you could actually tin the wires, meaning basically you just put a little bit of solder on the ends of them right now, but I don't think it's necessary. And we'll just go around and do all the rest just like that. We're going to have a 12 volt battery down here. Out of that 12 volt battery is a wire coming up, over, down into the switch. It's coming out of the switch, and then it's coming out to each one of these locations. I've got one here, here, and that's where each of these LED lights are going to be. There's 6 of them all down this side. And then from here, it goes over in behind this panel right here, and it comes out over there. Then we're going to come out to that and then just keep going all the way down the line. Rather than show you me doing each one, I figured I'd start some of it so you can see what we're doing, and now we're going to do it. The way this will work is there's a red wire and there's a black wire to this recessed light. The red wire will go in here. That'll get crimped. The black wire will get a ring terminal and it'll get screwed right here to ground. And so here's where the second light goes. And the reason I did them this way, guys, is so that we're not breaking apart the main harness. The main harness runs here, and then this runs out to the light. If you have to replace the light, you can just snip a little bit of this, put a new butt connector on it, and go without digging into the main harness. It goes all the way around the trailer for the lighting circuit. This blue wire right here, I've run all the way around, all the way to the back, and I've made a loop right here. This loop is going to go to the outside camera, the backup camera. The white wire is ground. I've tried to signify everything so that they're all the same color in this trailer. You look here, this is a factory wire. This is going out to the light outside, so you can see that this is white, so I've got all the whites in this trailer identified as ground. So I bought white wire so that anything I do new, I'll keep it white. If it's a ground, that way it'll all be the same. You can also see I've gone around and got rid of all the Scotch locks that are in the trailer. This one here just has to be shrunk. But one of the viewers mentioned that they do make an actual good Scotch lock, and he's absolutely right. I've used them. They're 3M, and they have like a gel inside of them, and the ones I used had like 3 holes in them. You just push your wires in each, and then you crimp it down. They're like blue, and when you squeeze it down, it has all kinds of dielectric grease in it. Those work really good. But these weren't those that were in this trailer, and I'm not a fan of them, so I'd rather do it right, use crimps and heat shrink, and that's the way to do it in my opinion. The wire that I'm using for this is 16 gauge, which will carry plenty of amperage that these lights will draw, because each of these light fixtures draw 3 watts apiece, and it's going to be, I think, probably less than 5 amps that this LED lighting will draw. Another circuit that I got to pull is I want to run another wire from this area here all the way to the back, and that's going to be a trigger wire, because I might put backup lights on the trailer so that when you put the vehicle in reverse, it turns on automatically some backup lights. And even if I don't do it, at least I'll have the wire here for future use. It'll be back here, and we won't have to do anything special to run a new wire. I'm just going to peel off some of this wire and run it through these little clips right here and pull it all the way to the back. Now's the time to do it. Even if you don't think that you might need it, you're always better off doing stuff like this to do it now and run anything that you think that you might need to run, do it now, because it's going to be a lot more difficult later. Now that we got all the wires run on this side, let's put it all back together. That way it's just less stuff in the trailer. See that, guys? All the lights are right here. Easy to make up the connection. Then we'll just screw right in right there. I'm really happy how this is coming along, guys. I think it looks better having that all the way to the top versus keeping it down like an inch. All right, let's do one of these guys. So, pretty simple. You got one that's got black on it, and I just got a little small ring terminal sized for this wire, and put it through, put a crimp on it. These are special crimping pliers. There. So there's our ground. And that's our hot wire, and then we're just gonna screw this in first into the aluminum of the trailer, and then we'll crimp this onto the butt connector and then pop the light in. There we go. There's that. That's ground. Then we'll take this side, crimp it, so now we gotta shrink that heat shrink. tuck that up in there like that. And then there. There we go. How does that look, guys? Doesn't that look clean? Just look how finished that looks. Might as well go right down through, guys, and just finish this side up and be done with it. Then we can move on to the other side and do all that. These are pretty easy to install. I think they look pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. So then I just spin the wire a little bit and then just kind of feed the wire into the crimp. There. Give it a quick test, make sure it works. It does, perfect. Now we'll shrink it down. There it is. Boy, those go in simple and they look so nice, guys. Alright, so we got this whole side done over here, and I think it looks pretty good. They're not super bright right now, but it's only running off the breakaway battery, the battery that is for the breakaway switch, and I've got a full, 12-volt car battery, so I think it'll probably be a lot brighter once that's done. But now that we've got this all up, and so now we've still got 12-volt power right to here. Now I need to run, loop it to here, to here, to here, all the way down. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to pull the wire the whole way down. And then I'm also going to leave, I think another coil up here because I may end up putting some more lights in this area, maybe recessing them in up in here, just so that the workbench has some light on it. Alright guys, I'm going to bring you up to speed where we're at because just about all of the electrical is done, and I want to show you exactly what we did to get to this point. So to make everything look fresh and new, I replaced the wall switch with a bigger one that you can feel a little bit better when it's dark at night. I've actually hooked these up to a temporary 12-volt battery, not just the breakaway battery, just so you guys can get an idea of how it looks. And it is pretty bright. Oh, just tripped over something. And it looks pretty good in here, guys. As you can see, it kind of looks like a showroom, I think. I like it, but if you notice the color of that light versus the color of that light. So that's a bright light LED. That's a 120 volt light. I'm just using it as an example. And I think that's cool white. I think if I was to do it again, I would probably get a brighter light. These are the lights that I bought. They're called warm white. I probably would have got bright white because this has a little bit of a warmer tone to it versus like a brighter white. So I think maybe that's the only thing I would change. And the ceiling being white, that if I had really bright white lights, that it could cause a glare inside the trailer. So I don't really know. These are adequate. They're plenty adequate, but maybe a bright white light would be a little bit better. I've gone around and I've labeled things so I know as I put this stuff back together what it's for. Here's that little 12-volt battery. This is actually just a little battery off my generator that's going to be going in this trailer. That's a brand new battery. That's something we're going to be starting soon, just so that this trailer is all self-contained, because this is going to be a toy hauler / mobile welding rig, so it's going to have its own onboard power source. So you could pull up to shore power and plug in if you needed to, but if not, it's got a generator that'll power the entire trailer and all the welders that are going to be in it. You can see I've got a circuit here, 12 volt out to the camera. So this is going to go, a battery is going to be here. This is going to power up a camera. It's going up in through here. Around here, I put some little loom around it just to prevent any abrasion areas. So I'm probably going to have, well, not probably, I am going to have a camera mounted here that faces back. And that'll be the view that you see going down the road so that you can monitor your cargo. So if you've got some motorcycles in here or whatever you're hauling, you can make sure that it hasn't tipped over or your straps hasn't loosened up or the load hasn't shifted or whatever. So You'll be able to monitor this from inside the cab of the vehicle. And I'm also going to have an exterior camera mounted on the back of the trailer so that when you're backing up, you can actually see where you're backing up because it's a big blind spot back there. This is how this trailer came wired up with this. When you pull this off, there was a spare yellow wire in there, not hooked up to anything. That spare yellow wire is for a backup circuit. So when you put your vehicle in reverse, you know how your backup lights turn on to your vehicle? Well, that powers up this yellow wire that wasn't going anywhere. I crimped a wire to that yellow wire, ran it all the way up, all the way to the back of the trailer, all the way down there, and that's this wire right here. Backup lights, it's all wired up to the plug of the trailer. So when the vehicle's put in reverse, this wire becomes hot. So all I've got to do is mount a reverse light on the back, or a backup light, or like a fog light. It'll be a bright LED light. Here's the camera power for out back, and here's ground. So these wires are all ready to be wired up to the accessories that are going to go in this area. So the next thing I got to do, guys, is I got to finish putting up these little couple trim pieces up here and put the trim pieces here. And then we got to get everything out of this trailer because this flooring needs to go down next. So that's the order. I can put the flooring down, then the workbench can go back in. It can be all put into place. All this track can be put back onto the floor. We can finish putting the track all on the wall, hang the spare tire up. We could actually do that now if we wanted to. And then this project will be finished. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. If this is something that you like, please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. New videos every week, so I'll see you next Friday. And I think this trailer is coming along really good, but I'm looking forward to getting it done so we can get on to some other projects. Till next week, guys, I will see you then. Take care, stay safe, God bless.